Hi guys. So I wanted to come on and do this video just to kind of let you know how things are going. I originally had planned to film a video today reminiscing and sharing some good stories about Riley with you, along with maybe like some pictures that corresponded with those. But I just am not quite ready to do that yet. I thought I would be, but I'm not quite there yet, because I need to go through pictures and stuff. And I think like the first step in also making like a montage of Riley videos and pictures, I think the first step in that is going to be I have to go through all my things because, like, generally speaking, I'm organized when it comes to my pictures. But in the last, I think basically since COVID, I haven't organized any of my pictures. So I need to organize pictures from like 2020 and then from this year so far. And so once I do that, then I can kind of go through all my files because I have like my pictures sorted by year, month, everything. Like, it's crazy. So I have to go through all the files and then find all the Riley pictures and kind of like, I guess what I'll do is probably as I go through them, I'll pick out my favorites and move them into their own folder. And then once I've done that, then I can start going through video footage. But I figured once I get the pictures organized, that way I can find the pictures that might correspond with some of the stories I want to share. Then I can at least share those with that video. So I'm not quite there yet. But today I basically wanted to talk about something that has been on my mind the last few days, and it's probably something, I guess, that you sometimes get with grief. I know I had this when I lost my cousin Brittany, and it's regrets. And by that I mean like regrets that, you know, you didn't do certain things with that person or that pet while they were still here. Or regrets of things you did do that you wish you could have done differently, or things like that. So I've had some of these pop up in my mind over the last few days, and I just kind of wanted to share them with you, because I'm just curious if anyone out there that's gone through any kind of loss, whether it be a family member or a pet, has experienced this. So I regret not taking more family pictures, meaning like pictures that were me, Alex, and Riley together in a picture. I think there was maybe, I want to say maybe there was like 3 years in a row, maybe 4 years in a row, that we did like a family Christmas photo by the Christmas tree. But I think that's all we have. And I kind of wish that we had done one this past Christmas. So I kind of regret that. I just wish I had more pictures of the three of us together. Another thing I kind of regret is not inviting more of our family over more often. I mean, we've had family here. I think there are some family members, maybe like some cousins of ours, like on my side and Alex's side, that haven't been to our apartment. I kind of regret not inviting them just because I wished that every one of our family members could have had a chance to meet Riley, see Riley, and see what a wonderful cat he is. So that's another regret that I have. Another regret that I have, and it's so weird because like I didn't really think much of it at the time, but once he passed, it was something that popped in my head, and that was the last, not this past winter, but past like the few winters before that. Um, I have an electric heating blanket, and when it would get really cold in the winters, I used to love using that electric heating blanket while watching TV because of my Raynaud's, and also like it would just help if I had like pain in my body or whatever. And of course, Riley loved the heating blanket as well. He would sit on it at the end of it and just like sleep, and he loved that heating blanket. And this past winter, I realized that I don't think I used my heating blanket at all this past winter because we had a pretty mild winter. And even when it did get a little cold in here, just putting on my regular little blanket that I have on our couch and our heater and maybe like a heating pad was enough to warm me up. And so I don't recall ever using my heating blanket this season. I think the only time we pulled it out was when Alex was sick. He wasn't feeling well and he had the chills. And that was when he said, like, can I have the heating blanket? And he used it. And I don't remember if Riley slept on it when he used it or not, but yeah, I just feel bad. Like, even though I know, like, I personally, like, didn't need to use it, and that's why that I never brought it out, I just feel bad that Riley didn't get a last chance to use it this past winter because I know how much he loved that heating blanket. Another thing that I regret is not taking part in some of the pet challenges. A few years back, there were some challenges going around, like the disappearing challenge. So it was like you get your cat to look at you, and then you hold up a blanket in front of you, and then before you let it drop, like you dart around the corner, and so when it drops, it looks like you disappeared. And it was like to film your pet's reaction to you just like vanishing. Or there was like the other one that was like pretend that you're dying and see your pet's reaction to you like dying on the floor. And more recently, there was a challenge that I saw on Instagram that was go up to your pet when they're laying on a bed or a couch or whatever and cuddle with them and see like what they do. And I remember anytime I saw these challenges, I thought I should do that. And then I never did. And I so regret not doing those because it would be really interesting to like see what Riley's reaction would be. And I think I planned to do it, and then life got busy and I just kept putting it off, and I was busy making other videos and working and whatever, and not feeling well. Of course, I was struggling with my health. And I think when I finally had decided that I should do it, it was too late. Because at that point, Riley was losing his vision, and I figured I don't think he's going to react because he won't be able to see me. And so I regret that. The cuddle challenge I saw that within the last couple of months. And again, I knew Riley wasn't quite himself, so I really didn't think there would be much of a reaction from him or whatever. And I was just kind of like, I don't think it's worth doing, but I now regret not doing those videos because I think they would have been really special and cute to have. I regret not doing his paw print herself. Alex's sister did her own paw print for Maggie, and I had looked up the recipe and it was very easy to do, but And we had considered doing it instead of paying Pets at Peace to do it. But because he had already been through the whole thing of stepping in his poop and not liking having his paws clean, I was like, I don't want to stress him out by grabbing his paw and like smushing it into clay. You know what I mean? So we chose not to do it. And then we chose to have Pets at Peace do it. And then, of course, you know, I explained what happened in my last video with like the whole claws and stuff. I'm coming to terms with the whole claw thing. It's just, I guess for me, I just, like I said, I just don't fully associate claws with Riley because he really, I mean, a lot of times his back claws, if they were long and I hadn't cut them in a while, would get caught on my shirt sometimes if I was holding him. And I have plenty of holes in a lot of my pajama tops from his hind claws being too sharp. And whenever that would happen, I would know it's time to cut his claws. So, I mean, I'm trying to think of it in that terms, but I think at first I had sort of like negative feelings towards the claws showing in his print because of the fact that the beginning of his final week with us started with me trying to cut his claws. And like I mentioned in the video about losing him, I accidentally cut his paw pad while cutting his claws. And I still to this day feel absolutely horrible about that. And it's another regret of mine. I regret ever trying to cut his claws that night because I knew he was hyper from the appetite stimulant. And so I was rushing to try and do it before he would fight it because he never liked having his claws cut in all the years we had him. But I feel guilty for doing that. And so I felt like it set the stage for how the rest of the week went. And like, he just slowly declined even more like from there. And so for me, it just kind of was like seeing his claws in the paw print was just sort of a reminder of that. So I don't know, but I mean, there's nothing that can be done about it. It was a miscommunication. Simply, it was written on paperwork, but I still think to myself, like, regardless, like, I feel like it should be a choice given to the pet owner whether they want the claws showing in the paw print or not. I understand that for her, she didn't realize that some cats are declawed. I know like declawing, they don't really do that much anymore unless it's like, I think medically necessary. Like vets discourage it now because we know better about that. But like Riley's previous owners were the ones that declawed him. But I guess, you know, like she just didn't think that was around anymore. But you got to think like Riley was almost 16 years old. So 16 years ago, you know, people were still doing that. So whether or not she knew about declawing or not, she just shouldn't automatically assume that the pet owner wants the claws showing in the paw print. Because that's what she basically told me, is that she just automatically writes that on paperwork because she's still kind of new there and just assumes people want it. But I don't think it should be assumed. I think she did say like after this situation, she's no longer going to do that. But I just think that they should be presenting the option to the pet owner, because if they had presented me with the option, then there would have been this whole mix-up. But like I said, in my grief, I didn't even think to mention it because we never mentioned anything about it with our past two cats. But that was many, many, many years ago, and they probably had different staff that, you know, did it differently, right? But I didn't even think of that in the moment. So yeah, I kind of just regret not doing the paw print herself. Like I do and I don't, in that I do because I wish we had done it the way we wanted it done. But then at the same time, if we had done that, it would have been stress on Riley. So in the end, it probably was better to not have done it ourselves. And I can't imagine, you know, in our last hour spent with him after he passed, trying to do it then. That thought didn't even cross my mind. I mean, it probably would have been the easiest way for us to do it ourselves, was to do it when he already passed. But I don't think I can picture us like mentally doing that. You know what I mean? I just wanted to hold him and spend time with him. So, and we just wanted to like pet him and everything. The other thing that I regret is not finding a different vet. Because if you go back on his journey playlist, I made a little playlist about his kitty journey. I found all the videos that I mean, there may have been other videos where I talked about it when changing reborns, but the main ones I found, I put them in a playlist on the video where I announced his passing. When we first started giving him the injections for the anemia, I think if you remember at the time, I was a little apprehensive with our vet. And I was considering at that time seeing another vet. And Alex kept like talking me out of finding another vet. But in the end, I wish we had have found a different vet. Because there was a lot of things that I don't think our vet did right. For one thing, I found out that when a cat is diagnosed with kidney disease, they should automatically be checking blood pressure every 3 months to monitor for high blood pressure, because they're at a greater risk of high blood pressure with kidney disease. And our vet never did that. In fact, it was me that once we started him on the treatment for the anemia, and we started him on the fluids and all that stuff, it was then that in the feline kidney disease group I was in, that's where I learned about the high blood pressure thing. And I thought, well, maybe, because I think I mentioned, like, it seemed like Riley was probably like slowly going blind because his eyes were really cloudy and stuff like that. And so someone in the group was like, maybe he has high blood pressure. If he does, you might be able to prevent him from like totally going blind, and you might be able to reverse whatever vision loss he might already have. And so I was the one that brought it up to the vet and was like, can we test his blood pressure? And then that's when we found out, yeah, he did have high blood pressure. I mean, the first medication they started him on when he was first diagnosed with kidney disease, it doesn't just help the kidneys, but it also is a blood pressure medication as well. But a lot of times that isn't enough on its own, and sometimes you need an extra like specific blood pressure medication, which is what we ended up getting, the like cream for him that you would put on his ear every night. And so, you know, the fact that I had to like ask for that she never mentioned checking his blood pressure. There was other things too, that I was basically the one that like asked to test this or look at this, or like, what could this mean? She just didn't seem very proactive. And then the fact that, now most times she was pretty good at returning my calls. If I had questions, she might take a day to call back or whatever. But the fact that I called on the Friday, and I understand she wasn't in the office that day, but the people said that they would have her call me the next day. And you would think, me telling them I need to talk to this vet because I need help deciding if we should be putting our pet down, right? Like, I was like, things are going on with our cat. I need some guidance from our vet as to whether it's time to put him down or not. And she's like, oh, okay. She's like, I'll get her to call you tomorrow when she's in. And she never called. And she still hasn't called. Now, we did finally get a sympathy card in the mail yesterday from our vet. And it was signed by our vet, as well as other members, other staff members in the clinic. So we did finally get a sympathy card from them because Pets at Peace notified them of Riley's passing. So, but the fact that she never called me back, I just thank God that Riley gave us the signs that it was time just a couple of hours after I had made that call to the vet, because God forbid we were like waiting, and things got worse. But, thankfully Riley showed us. But I just feel like maybe more could have been done to help him earlier on that would have given him a better quality of life for longer had we gone to another vet. I don't know. Another regret that I have is I can't remember when I finally decided to do this, but we had him for a few years, and I just felt bad that because we're in a basement, as you can see behind me, like our windows are high up. And I always felt so bad that he didn't have a way to look out the window. And I can't remember how long we had him before I decided, hey, why don't I put one of our bar stools at our front door, and I'll open, because we have two doors. We have like the screen door outside, and then the inside part has like the door with the lock. So I thought, why don't I open the door with the lock and then just have the screen door, because that has a bigger window, and put the bar stool chair in front of it. And I think I have video of it on Radical Riley's playlist, of him sitting on the chair looking out the window, and he really enjoyed that. And sometimes he would like sleep on there, basking in the sun. But there was a lot of times where I forgot to do it when it was a really nice day. And I kind of wish I had done it more. And I wish I had have thought to do it like from the time we got him. I think the first time I tried it, he didn't take to it right away. I tried it maybe like 2 days in a row, and he didn't really do anything. And then I just gave up until a few years later when we had the cancer scare with him. That was in 2015, I believe, where his old vet thought that he had a tumor in his stomach. And then we came back a year later for his annual exam, and she was shocked we were there because she thought he would be dead. And she didn't feel anything in his stomach anymore, and he was fine. Like, it was a false alarm, I guess. I don't really understand what happened with it, but it was around that time when we thought that he was like gonna die of cancer that I started to put the chair there more. And then he really took to it at that time and was really enjoying it. But I just didn't always remember to do it. And I wish I had. I wish it had become like a normal part of our routine to just do that for him so that he could look out the window. One other thing that I regret is, and it's a weird one because I did not take any pictures or videos of his last morning with us before the vet came to put him down, because in my mind I thought, I don't really want to have reminders of it. I don't want video of it. I don't want photo of it. I'll just have it in my memory, but I don't want like physical like memories of that. But looking back, there's one thing that I do regret, and I do regret not filming him eating his last treat. And the reason is because I felt like that was a nice moment. I don't look at that in a negative way. I mean, it was hard for us because we knew it was getting close to time to say goodbye, but it was such a cute moment. And I never actually got footage of him of how much he loved those creamy treats. And his Auntie Diana gave him those at Christmas. And I mean, I had bought some for him like in the months prior to that as well. And he loved them at the beginning. And then he went through a phase where he wasn't too keen on them. But in his final days, he devoured them. And it was such a cute thing to see him like with his nose all in it. He was just loving it so much, and I wish that I had that on video. Even if I didn't post it on Facebook, I just wish I had it for me to see how much he enjoyed that in his last moment. In what, I mean, not his last moment, but like his last morning, his last treat. Like, it was the cutest thing, and so I regret not filming that. As I was editing this video, I realized I forgot one other regret that I have, which is that I don't have very many pictures or videos of Riley from this year, from 2021. Between like the new year, January, till now, I don't really have very many pictures. Most of the ones that I do have is him sleeping on my lap on the couch. And I think maybe like the only video I have is maybe like the odd appearance that he made in like changing videos where like he would walk across when I was filming, or you would just hear him meowing in the background. I don't know that I have any other video, because really, like I said, he was on a slow decline since January, so if he wasn't sleeping, then he was just kind of wandering around, bumping into things and not really doing much that I wanted to film, you know what I mean? But I kind of regret now that I don't have more from this year. And finally, I regret not really talking to him when he was passing. I knew it was going to be hard because you feel awkward talking when you're in the presence of a vet, even though I'm sure she's seen it all. But and she was a very nice lady too, but we were crying too, so it was just really hard to verbalize what I wanted to say to him as he was passing. So all we could do was just cry and pet him. And I mean, I'm sure the petting let him know we were there, but that was why I spent so much time the night before when I was in bed with him and I was whispering everything I wanted to say to him. I made sure I was saying it all then, and then I said it again right before the vet arrived when I was holding him. I said it all again to him. I just wanted to make sure that he heard everything that I said, but I still wish that I had have talked to him as he was passing, but it was hard. Like, it was hard to. We were just emotional, and so I just hope that whatever I had to say to him, I hope that he heard it before, and that just having us petting him and being by his side was enough for him. So before I start getting all upset now thinking about that, I just wanted to share those regrets with you. And I'm sure like regrets is normal. Like I said, when my cousin Brittany passed away, I had regrets that we didn't spend more time together in her last few years. We were a lot closer when we were younger kids. But the years prior to her passing, we didn't see each other as much as we used to. And I have regrets about that. So, I mean, I think it's normal. And before I go, I just wanted to show you guys, we still have his litter box in the office. I don't know. We haven't put it away yet. I don't know why. It's just one of those things. And I wanted to show you that, like, his dishes are put away and his water fountain's put away. So his water fountain used to be there in that corner, and his food bowls used to be here. So this just seems so empty. And that's been like that since the day he passed. Alex automatically put those away, but I don't know why he hasn't done the litter box yet. But I'm just, you know, we're taking our time on that kind of stuff. We also have his bed still in the hallway. I think I'm going to be putting these in his shadow box. So we have the catnip toy and this mouse he absolutely loved. There was also this plastic spring toy that he used to really love playing with. And I'm not sure where I put it. I think I see it. Okay, I see it. I have a little box of toys here, and I think it's in there. So that'll probably go into his shadow box as well. And then maybe I'll take the feather off of his wand toy, which this feather was huge when we got it, but he has chewed it up and it's fallen apart over the years. But I might take the feather off of the wand and put that in his shadow box. So we have that, and there's all his bowls and his fountain and water filters and stuff. We have to put that away. This is a bag of stuff of his that I'm going to be giving to my friend on the weekend. And then I have to take the cover off the steps and wash it, and then I'm going to post the steps for sale on Marketplace because we didn't have them very long, so I'd like to kind of recoup some of the cost on that. I have his blanket up here on the couch. We also still have his sleeping bag right where it's always been. And that's where he passed. His head was laying down on this nice fluffy bedding. And over here is the box of supplies to donate. A lot of them are missing already. My old friend from high school is taking the appetite stimulant for her cat, as well as some leftover catnip and cat treats and some regular cat food. And then I'm going to be shipping off all of the IV needles, the needles for B12 injections, or if you're doing injections for anemia, as well as injectable B12. Those are going off to a lady from the Feline Kidney Disease Forum in BC. And then another lady in Hamilton, Ontario, I'm going to be shipping out to her all of the remainder IV lines we have, which we have 8 left. Cindy, who was a lady from the same forum back in October, she was so kind to give us 12 IV lines, and we were able to use the IV lines twice, which with a new bag. So we were able to do 2 bags with 1 line, and so they stretched out, and so we were left with 8 after that. And so she's going to be getting the IV lines as well as the Serenia. We had just got Serenia for Riley, before he passed. We had just refilled his Serenia, which was his anti-nausea medication, and we only got to use 1 pill from 1 box. Each box has 4 pills, but you would cut them into lower doses. Originally he was getting a 1/4 tablet every day, but near the end it was 1/2 tablet a day. So we were 2 boxes used to last us a month, but then 2 boxes started lasting only half a month. So it started to get expensive at the end with the 1/2 tablet a day. But it helped keep him from throwing up, so that was good. But so she's getting those 2 boxes of Serenia, and she's currently doing the 1/4 tablet dose, so she's got almost a month's worth for free, which is fantastic because 2 boxes came out to $90. So I know I probably could have tried to like sell and recoup some of the losses, but I just wanted to help others in need, because feline kidney disease is not cheap to treat. Let me tell you that. So she's getting the Serenia and the IV lines. So I've already packaged those up, and I'm going to be shipping those tomorrow. They are just paying for, I just asked that they pay for the shipping, but all the items are free. So so the other items, I don't know. I'll wait and see if any more people from the group are in need and need to message me for it. Maybe I'll give it a few days. And if I haven't heard any more interest, then I think I'm going to try listing the remainder of the supplies on Marketplace. And here's how the flowers are doing. They are finally starting to go. But man, like, it's Thursday, so they lasted a long time. I'm pretty impressed with it. And I can't remember if I mentioned, but Angela's the one that sent them to me, and she originally thought that these little flowers were blue. And I told her, I'm like, don't worry that they're not blue, because I actually think it's fitting that they're purple, because May is Lupus Awareness Month, and Riley passed away the 2nd day of May. And purple is the color for lupus. So I was like, I think it's perfect. And she agreed. This is the sympathy card from our vet. And everyone from the clinic signed it and stuff. So, yeah. I don't know. The message our doctor wrote was nice and all, or our vet wrote. The message our vet wrote is nice and everything, but it still bothers me that she never returned my call about guidance, even though we had already made the decision anyway, but it's something that really bothers me. And just wanted to share those regrets. I don't know. They've just been on my mind lately. I'm sure it's normal. But yeah, like, if any of you guys have gone through any kind of loss and had regrets like that, share it in the comments so I don't feel so alone in it. And so yeah, I think next week, maybe over the weekend, I'll start going through the pictures. And so hopefully next week I can get out a nice memorial video for Riley. I don't think it'll be the montage of video and photo, but just one where I'll share some good memories of Riley and stories of him, like, verbally. And then I'll slowly, over the coming weeks, work on the montage, because that's gonna be a big project, and I have to get back into working on my sleep consultant course, because the week after he passed away, I couldn't do it. I didn't do any schoolwork at all on the course. I just was not in the right headspace for it. And I had hoped to get back to it this week, but I still wasn't quite there yet. So I need to start back on that next week. So I'll have to gradually work on the montage in between studying. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye.